To help us better understand some of the problems with our water, we've invited Ted Jones, a certified water specialist from Kinetico Incorporated.
Ted, I'm glad that you're here.
Thanks for having me.
Because I have some questions for you. I see the water, and I'm hearing that there's stuff in the water, even dissolved rock, but I can't see anything. So how much could possibly be in here?
It actually depends on how hard your water is. Water's tested by a measurement called grains per gallon. A grain being kind of like a grain of wheat.
Okay.
So if you had 5 grains of dissolved rock in a gallon of water, that would be approximately equivalent to 1 aspirin tablet.
So there'd be this much material dissolved in a gallon of water.
It has nothing to do with the headache. It actually is, it's a good way to show how much dissolved rock. So if you took that gallon of water and boiled it and left the residue, that's what will be left in just 1 gallon of water.
That doesn't seem that incredibly bad, you know.
Well, let me explain how it works per day. The average person uses about 75 gallons of water per day. For a family of 4, that's 300 gallons of water going throughout your entire house.
So that dissolved stuff is going through your washer and your shower and your dishwasher and all that stuff.
Exactly. I mean, again, if you had 5 grains per gallon of hardness and you had 300 gallons going throughout your entire house, that means you'd have 300 aspirin tablets of dissolved rock going through that house every day.
Wow.
Through your washing machine, through the water heater, through your sinks, through your commode, showers, everywhere. That's just for 5 grains per gallon of hardness. But if we took 10 grains, now instead of 300 aspirin tablets, we doubled it. Now you have 600 aspirin tablets of dissolved rock going throughout that entire house. Now here we're at 10 grains. Let's go to 15 grains and stop there. Now you have 900 aspirin tablets of dissolved rock going throughout that entire house. And I can continue to go. But that basically equates to 27,000 aspirin tablets per month. And that's what breaks down all of the water using appliances, your clothing. You have to use extra soaps and extra detergents to try to combat this type of situation.
We had very hard water, and it was noticeable in our wash, our clothing. The whites were kind of dingy.
There was always, even with the shower, by the time we come out, there would be a film of iron like on the tub.
My shower fixture all used to get crusted with white stuff and looked really terrible.
We got the Kinetico system, and that's all we need. Our water's clear, and we really like it.
With the Kinetico system, the water is clear and pure. It just runs right off the walls of the shower stall, and there's no cleaning to it.
So this is representative of what goes through a family's pipes and plumbing every day, but how much damage could it do? Doesn't it mostly go down the drain?
Some does go down the drain, John, but some of it finds its place in the washing machines, water heater, pipes. In fact, I have a piece of plumbing right here. When the dissolved rock is heated up, it comes out of solution and forms on the inside of the pipes. What that does is, as you can see here, is it restricts the flow, the volume of flow through your household.
More than half full of something.
You've all of a sudden lost all of that water going through that pipe there.
What else can it do?
The other things is you have a shower head, and what takes place is the calcium magnesium gets in there and it locks into some of those orifices.
Right.
Have you ever taken a shower and all of a sudden the water's spraying in like 72 different
Definitely,
directions?
yeah.
That's what happens there. So that's the dissolved rock that's getting inside of there.
And I imagine it gets in just about anything that has to do with plumbing in your home. So
I mean, here's a faucet we took out of a home, and you can see all of the spots and all of the stains from the calcium magnesium.
And I imagine it gets clogged up too, and all of these items aren't cheap.
Shower heads, plumbing, fixtures, it's not cheap. It's very expensive to replace. So by providing softened water, conditioned water throughout the house, you can definitely save a lot of money there.
Our clothes are better, the drinking water is super, the dishes are better, the tubs, the toilet, everything that we used to have a lot of problems with, that's now solved.
It looks like we have a little science class going on here.
One of the biggest issues is in our washing machine when we're talking about mixing soaps or detergents with the water.
Okay.
One of the things happen is when you take that dissolved rock and the soaps or detergent mix with it, it causes kind of a soap curd sometimes.
Oh.
To best illustrate that, I've taken 2 different types of water. This water is hard water.
Okay.
And this water is soft conditioned water. It means
Okay.
it's been run through a water softener. I'm going to take pure soap. When I say pure soap, it's a tincture of green soap, the same type of soap that they use in doctors' offices to wash out before surgery.
Okay.
It doesn't have phosphates, chelating agents, sequestering agents. It doesn't have any of those high intense chemicals to treat the water.
Okay.
What I want to do is I want to just take 4 drops. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, and 4. And I'm just going to take that, and I just want to slowly swirl those 2 different types of water.
Geez, I can see something already. This one's all cloudy, and this one's real clear.
If you're going to take a hot bath tonight, let me ask you this.
Okay.
Which water would you prefer to bathe in?
That looks like after the bath. I think I'd prefer this.
Actually, it does. And a lot of times people get out of a bathtub and say, I didn't think I was that dirty. You're actually not. It's pretty much the soap, shampoos reacting with the hardness, causing that soap scum.
I can actually see stuff floating around in there.
That's the soap scum there. Whereas here, we've removed the problem, taken it away, so now the soap is just reacting with the water.
It hasn't changed at all.
It's crystal clear.
Yeah, it is.
Now let me show you this. If I take both of them, and if I shake them up at the same time,
well, it's a huge difference.
I just put 4 drops in each one. Here, if you see that,
oh man,
all of that dissolved rock is reacting, causing that soap scum.
Looks like a shower door.
What that is the friction. It's that aspirin tablet of dissolved rock I talked about earlier, that friction that adheres with the soap and leaves itself on the shower door, the shower curtain, on all your fixtures. That's what's left behind sometimes when you around your sink because you have that soap there. Whereas here, that nice soft conditioned water just sheets away.
Wow.
So not only can you use less soap, but you have a better reaction and a better situation when you're finished with that.
And you'd also have a better bath, for
You'd have
sure.
Exactly. Now let me show you this. I'll actually put in 5, 6, 7, 8, twice as much soap here, and I'll shake this up. You think you'd have a ton of suds because you have that many suds with 4, but you still...
It's about the same.
You still don't... I'd have to dump a ton of soap in here to have the same type of soap suds as that.
Obviously, it's not very efficient then.
Well, and also look at the bottom. Which water is clear there at the bottom, too?
Well, it's still this.
Yeah, just makes sense. Okay. Let's say you have a wash rag you put in the wash machine.
All right.
You take it out, put it in the dryer, dry it. Now, I'm going to just take a little mason jar here.
All right.
I'm going to put the wash rag inside of here. I'm going to take some just soft water, which is cold, and I'm going to pour it on top of here. And I'm going to swirl it around here for a second. And I'm going to take this out. Now, this is just a freshly laundered washcloth.
Okay.
And I'm going to kind of squeegee it out here. Put this off to the side. Now, I'll close this. Now, first of all, that's a freshly laundered washcloth. And then when I do this...
Now, how come that didn't rinse out?
That is the amount of detergent trapped in that little washcloth. We have a saying that you can only get as clean as the water you use. So if you're using hard water, all of a sudden, again, that aspirin tablet dissolved rock is reacting with the water and the soap and causes it to be trapped inside there. John, you're talking incredible savings when you take soft water. When you take this type of water and you take the dissolved rock out of it and you soften it, you can see how your soap suds look better.
Clear, yeah.
The water's better for your skin, better for your hair, but it's also much better for your pocketbook.
And why would that be?
Well, because you're removing the dissolved rock, so your soaps can react better with the softened water, and you don't have to dump as much in. Here's the Maytag answer book. So when you go buy a Maytag dishwasher wash machine, this is where you go to.
And Maytag, huge name.
Has a nice reputation.
Yep.
And it says right here, a general recommendation is 1 teaspoon of detergent for each grain of water hardness.
We went through that whole grain thing, so you'd have to use a lot more if you had hard water.
If you had 10 grains of hard water, I'm just using that, you'd have to have 10 teaspoons of detergent. Whereas soft water, they say a minimum of 3. That's a 10 to 3 ratio. So that means not only are you buying less detergent, but it's also less detergent going down the drain, which is better for our environment.
Right, and it's less to rinse out of clothing and the whole
for your wash machine, things like that. There's a number of articles. If you just look in the Sunday circulars in your newspaper, here's lime scale remover, here's X14 soap scum remover, hard water heroes, the crust cutter and the everyday avenger, and my favorite, hard water champs for your toilet bowl. All of these cleaners and detergents are dedicated and predicated to doing one basic thing before they clean, and that is clean the water. Dishwasher detergent. This is what you go put in your dishwasher, and we talked about earlier, 3 teaspoons with soft water, 1 teaspoon per grain of hardness for your water hardness. And
Right.
again, you should have your water hardness checked. But the first ingredient in this dishwashing detergent is?
Let's see, my science will kick in. Sodium tripolyphosphate, which is it's water softener.
It's a basic water softener.
Yeah.
First ingredient is water softener. They say that probably 50% at least of this dishwashing detergent is made up of water softeners. Why do you think that is?
Because they know that the only way that the soap part of it's going to work is if the water has been conditioned.
And if you try to use basic pure soap with this type of water, do you think you like the results from your dishes and your clothes?
I probably have eaten off something like that.
You wouldn't be happy at all,
No,
would you?
not too good.
We use a lot less detergent. The clothes are staying white. They're not turning that dingy gray.
Detergent. I have almost cut probably my detergent consumption in half.
Before the Kinetico system, my shower stall it's a white shower stall, and it was brown. It always had this film on it. And to clean the film off would require an hour or two with a scrub brush and 2 or 3 bottles of scrubbing bubbles to get all the brown goop off of there. And then it never all completely went away. And then after I installed the Kinetico system and scrubbed my shower down once, it stayed white ever since.
Ted, you've convinced me that I want my water like this and not like this, but why a Kinetico water softener?
2 engineers took a look at the industry in the early 1970s and said 3 things didn't make sense with the conventional water softener.
Okay.
All water softeners worked with electricity. 2 is they had a single tank resin tank, so they had to clean themselves with this type of water, incoming water.
Not good.
And 3rd is they basically work on a timer method. It would regenerate or clean itself maybe every 2nd, 3rd, or 4th day based on time, not usage.
Oh.
So Bill Pryor and Jim Cooley designed the Kinetico non-electric twin tank demand operated system.
Okay.
No electricity, you've eliminated 75 to 85% of the problems of a water softener due to electricity. They have 2 resin tanks instead of 1 resin tank. What that means is now when that system comes time to clean itself, it cleans itself with the softened water.
Right.
So that softened water goes through both tanks, making the resin last longer and work better. And 3rd of all, instead of it worked on a timer type situation, it works totally on demand. And if you use water, it works. If you go away on vacation for a week, it just sits there. The Kinetico system will never waste a pound of salt for a gallon of water not used. Not ever.
The one area we haven't touched on yet is the water we drink.
And probably the most important water we use in the house.
Yeah.
Ironically, only 1% of the water we use is for our drinking and cooking, our life support water. So if you take the 300 gallons for a family of 4, that's only 3 gallons per day. Not just for drinking, but also the water you make your ice cubes with, tea, coffee, orange juice. You might cook your pasta, water your plants, and feed your pets with it.
Yeah.
Any weight maintenance program in America today, you step in the first day, they talk about, of course, later on what kind of food you should eat. It should be a high protein or low protein. But the number one thing they talk about is
8-ounce glasses of water a day.
always. There's no doubt about it. Water metabolizes stored fat. It's calorie free. It's the best way to fill you up. The problem is a lot of people don't like the taste of their water. When they don't like the taste of their water, they end up drinking soft drinks, sugar drinks, sodas, things like that.
Taste is important, but what I'm thinking about is my water safe?
That's a very difficult question to answer. The United States probably in the whole world has the safest water of any country around. If you're on a well, you're basically in charge of treating that well. You're the only person there for the water plant operator to make sure that water is meeting the standards that you want to have in your house. If you're on a city, cities inject chlorine as a disinfectant. They've been doing it since the early 1900s. It's super in the sense that it got rid of typhoid and cholera, some things that were inherently bad at the times and causing big problems. However, today, if you go to EPA.gov, it's been linked to some types of cancers because it reacts with byproducts in the water. You see more and more arsenic in the water, boil water alerts. You see MTBE, which was the gasoline additive in there that they try to do some things with.
Right.
So the basic, my thought is that I would prefer to have peace of mind by putting a drinking water system right at my tap to ensure that it's reducing those things that are in the water that I don't want to have. John, looks like tea time. One of my favorite.
Oh, that's so nice. We could use a break.
One of my favorite demonstrations is explaining the differences between tea made with different types of water. This tea in the blue kettle is made with the very high quality Kinetico reverse osmosis water, and this tea is made with the tap water.
Let me get down here and check. They look kind of the same.
Now what I'd like to do is just take some basic Lipton tea, and I'm going to put it in here.
All right.
John, if you look at the two different types of tea, which one looks richer and more full tasting?
I think this one does.
And why do you say that?
It's darker.
And actually, we've been conditioned the darker, like if you get a dark beer, it's more robust,
Right.
and better like that. But I'm here to tell you that this actually is the stronger tea.
Doesn't really seem possible.
Well, here's what I want you to do.
Okay.
I want you to take the sniff test. I want you to smell that tea first,
Okay.
and then smell that tea second. Tell me which tea has a more stronger tea smell.
Okay. Wow. This smells more like tea.
Now, let me take the tea bags out.
Yikes. You got a little bit of a scum thing
Kind of a
happening
tea
there.
scum.
Yeah.
It's actually reaction, if you want to hold that, it's actually reaction with the TDS minerals and the tannins.
Wow. This kind of left a funny aftertaste in my mouth.
A lot of people say after they taste that, it's like they kind of want to go.
When the whole system was in, just drinking a glass of water that has just zero taste. It's what water's supposed to be. It's great.
The way it tastes, whether you're making iced tea or using it to make ice cubes, it just enhances the flavor of what you're making. You don't have everything else in there.
And the water tastes great. Or like, for instance, our ice cubes in our ice maker are crystal clear now. They're not cloudy. It's just the coffee tastes better, even though I make it now. But
Here is an ice cube made with Kinetico reverse osmosis system. We're talking about making that to an extremely high quality water.
Wow.
Compared to this ice cube, which is made with a tap water. Now what happens is when ice is formed, oxygen forms in the middle. So in that Kinetico ice cube, I mean, on the outside, I usually say it's clear as diamonds almost.
Right.
I mean, what's funny is people sometimes will buy bottled water, and they'll have an automatic ice maker, and then they'll have a drink, or they'll actually pour themselves a bottle of water, and they'll take an ice cube and put it into the drink. So what they've done is they've taken this ice cube and they put it in there. Does that make sense?
It doesn't make sense to me.
So when you're using, cleaner water, your ice cubes, everything tastes better in your house. John, what I have in my hands here is a TDS meter. TDS stands for Total Dissolved Solids. That's anything in the water that carries a charge, such things as calcium, magnesium, salts, iron, manganese. What happens is you have two little prongs here that measure the conductivity of the water.
Right.
What I want to do here is I actually want to measure our tap water first.
Okay.
And I'm going to put this in here. And that registers,
217.
actually it's going to stop at around 212.
Okay.
That's 212 TDS, and it's measured in parts per million.
Okay.
Now what we do is when we run this through the reverse osmosis system, the Kinetico drinking water
Now you're
system,
rinsing that off and...
Exactly. This is the very high quality water. I always
Okay.
want to rinse it off before I do the next test.
All right.
Thanks for bringing that up. I
That's
appreciate
all right.
that. But we run it through the reverse osmosis system. As I said before, we run it through that membrane, and the bad water goes down the drain, and only the good water squeezes through.
Okay.
So now we're going to take this actual water, which
Okay.
had 200 plus TDS, and we're going to run it through there. And now it measures
Wow.
7. So we've taken 200 plus and brought it down to 7. Now you might have thought it was going to bring it down to 0. And actually it's virtually impossible to purify water to 0, to infinity. But what we can do is significantly reduce the things in the water by 95 to 98%, which gives us peace of mind. John, what I'd like to do here is test some of this bottled water that we have here.
All
We've
right.
gone to a local grocery store, and I want to test it again for the TDS.
All
What
right.
we just tested our tap water and our Kinetico reverse osmosis drinking water with. I want to test the TDS not as it refers to the safety of water, but more for the taste and how it affects your tea and ice cubes.
Okay.
We showed earlier that the higher the TDS, the more that the tea is masked the taste and it doesn't smell as
Ice
good.
cubes aren't clear.
Ice cubes aren't as clear.
Right.
So what we're going to do is we're going to put this in each one here.
Let's take a look
And
here.
I'm going to take the first one, and the TDS measures 92. And I'll clean that off.
I'll be the cleaning guy here.
The next one, this water tests at
Ooh.
in the 130s, about
Yeah.
132, 133. And I'll clean it off. This water tests at
Whoa.
over 300. 304 it's stopping at.
I'm a little surprised, to tell you the
Well, that
truth.
actually tests higher than the tap water we had here.
Yes, it did.
So this tests at over 70, about 71. And you can see that each one tests out differently, depending if it's coming from a spring water or from wherever it's coming. And this one, here's a gallon where you can kind of fill it up at the place, tests at 89. So you can see a wide range of total dissolved solids in each bottled water. But the biggest issue to me about bottled water is if people are buying bottled water, I say, good job, because that shows you that water is important to you, and drinking the 8-ounce glasses of water a day is important to you. My issue is this is a huge inconvenience. A gallon of water weighs 8.33 pounds. I mean, if you bring home 2 gallons, it's like bringing home 2 bowling balls of water. It's just a pain in the butt.
Yeah.
And the second issue is that people usually ration water. Typically, I'll ask somebody, do you use your water to cook your pasta with, make your Jell-O with, make your cake mixes? And they always say no, because it's an inconvenience and it's extremely costly. What we prefer to do is put the Kinetico reverse osmosis drinking water system right at the convenience of your own tap, so you can use it for all the uses all the time and for pennies a day.
I've saved a fortune just in not buying bottled water anymore for the drinking water system. I mean, I drink a lot of water and would probably buy a case of bottled water or more a week, and now I just go to the tap and turn it on and get a glass of water.
We bought the Kinetico water system because we wanted to not just soften the water, but remove the chlorine, work in the health field, and you try to keep as many items that could possibly compromise your health away from yourself.
Now you can taste the water is clean. You know, you feel like you're drinking pure water.
In fact, my neighbor comes over and the first thing he asks, do you mind if I have a drink of water?
Ted, I've seen your product do a lot of things today. So many things, it makes me wonder, does this cost a lot of money?
It's one of the best parts about the system, that actually the system will pay for itself as you use it. You think about all the bottled water, the savings in the plumbing, the wash machines, dishwasher, clothes, soaps, detergents. You can save so much money that actually it will pay for itself. And also with the Kinetico system, it's one of the most effective and most efficient systems in the market today. So if you're comparing it against other brands, it uses a lot less regenerate, a lot less water. You don't have any electricity with the water softener. And the drinking water system comes with one of the longest and the best warranties on the market today.
Well, I think the main selling point to me was it was almost an install and forget operation. Very little maintenance to it. You have to keep an eye on your salt, and you change a filter, I guess, occasionally.
The operation is simple, and it is environmentally friendly. There's not a waste of water like you have in other systems. Very reliable. It's mechanical.
There's no timers, no electricity, so it basically runs and takes care of itself, and all you have to do is make sure it's filled with salt when it needs to.
We don't get a buildup of material on the shower heads or the nozzles, the faucet, inside the hot water heater.
I notice I don't have to scrub the tub anymore. There was always, even with the shower, by the time we come out, there would be a film of iron-like on the tub.
The amount of soap you want to put in the laundry is way lower than it is before. I don't use as much shampoo in the shower, because that's the first thing I noticed is if you use the old amount, you're just foaming all over the place.
Everything works well with it, and I love the system. It's worked very well for me.
Ted, thank you very much for stopping by. It's been a real pleasure, and I've learned a lot today.
It was a pleasure sharing the information with you.
For more information on anything you've seen in today's show, call your local Kinetico Quality Water Systems dealer.